Usually, I don't like film Twitter. However, this is one of those rare times where I have to thank film Twitter. So thank you, film Twitter. Thank you. So Sator is a supernatural horror film written and directed by Jordan Graham. In Sator, we follow a character who lives with his dog in a cabin in the woods, and every day this character is trying to hunt for this creature that is living within the woods. However, at the same time, this said creature is not only trying to claim this man, but his broken family as well. Alrighty guys, so let's get into Sator.
Excellent!
This was a movie that I had no idea about. And when I say that I had no idea about this movie, I mean that I had no idea of this film's existence whatsoever. And usually when it comes to an independent horror film like this one, I hear about it from one of three different ways. One being a friend, two being an article that I read on the internet, or three from a YouTube film critic. However, in this movie's case, none of those things applied. I actually heard about this movie through Twitter. I was on my Twitter timeline and someone who I had followed had liked a tweet from somebody that said, Sator is a movie that you need to see. They had posted a couple of shots in the film and one particular shot literally had me say out loud, wow. Okay, I need to see this movie. Cut to a couple of days later, I was hanging out with one of my best friends and we decided to rent this movie on Amazon Prime, and man, I gotta tell you all, I really dug Sator. Sator was damn, and I mean a damn good horror flick. When it comes to the performances of Sator, Sator is a movie that doesn't really rely on a lot of dialogue. Now, there is dialogue in this movie, but Sator is a movie that relies first and foremost on visual storytelling. Seeing how characters react in some situations, with how they act with their body language, or with how they're thinking and how they are acting with just emoting with their faces, and I feel like that for the most part this works really well. I really liked the main character, I liked his brother, I liked the entire family, and I even like this one person who pops in and out that just might have something to do with this titular character named Sator. The best way that I can describe the main character in this movie is by comparing him to Ryan Gosling in Drive. The main character doesn't really have a lot of lines. In fact, his lines are not that much throughout the film. It's how he's dealing not only with this creature that is hunting out him and his family, but also you can clearly tell that he is dealing with some really bad mental issues. And I thought that the main actor did a great job of conveying all of that within this movie, considering that he is essentially carrying this movie on his shoulders. Is Sator scary? More than anything, Sator is a very eerie, a very unsettling film, and also it is atmospheric to the bone. This movie has some freaky, and I mean some freaky ass images. A couple in particular that made me go like, what the fuck is that? What this movie would rather use in order to build tension is the atmosphere and creative use of lighting. There's one scene off the top of my head that I can think of in which how they use a flashlight to build the tension in a scene. God damn. The opening scene. Not only how the opening sequence uses breathtaking black and white photography, but also the sound. The sound in this movie just got under my skin in so many ways. When it comes to the sound of Sator, Sator is a movie that doesn't really use a score. Now, there are cues in this movie, but what this movie would rather use is a great use of soundscape. If you have either great headphones or speakers, my fucking god. The best way that I can describe Sator is by combining these two movies, The Witch and It Comes at Night. With The Witch and how it's involving a broken family that's going through some really hard times, but also how an outside force can exacerbate their problems. But then with It Comes at Night and how it uses atmosphere, lighting, and also eeriness. To add on top of all those things, how this movie uses, at least this is how it came up to me at least, of how this family is dealing with a lot of mental health issues. I think that for the most part, it works splendidly. Sator, in terms of the technical aspects, this movie is absolutely outstanding and something that's gonna blow your guys' mind, because trust me, this blew my mind to a million pieces. If you watch the credits of this movie, Jordan Graham, the writer-director of this movie, did every crew job on that set. Not only was he writer-director, he was a cinematographer, he was the camera operator, he was the one in charge of the lighting in terms of the sound. He was in charge of all the sound jobs on this movie. In terms of the editing, he did the editing, the coloring, the foleying, literally. Any crew job that you can think of on an independent film like this, Jordan Graham did. Sator is a really inspiring movie, just knowing that this one dude did all of this, but minus the acting, of course. He was the one-man film crew on this movie. If you look at the imagery in this movie, seriously, going on to the cinematography, this movie is a beauty to look at. How Jordan Graham, in some certain parts of this movie, uses lighting for the cinematography, of how he uses it in the darkest parts of this movie, I thought it was so clever, showing the lush greenery of the forest, seeing all the landscape shots, seeing a couple of shots in particular of seeing how a character be lit up by the sky. Knowing that one guy had shots like this blows my fucking mind. It really does. And makes me want to go back out there and make a horror film because, and it makes me think, you know what? If this guy can make a horror film that looks this freaking good, then so can I. This movie shoots in a couple of different formats. It shoots in color, it shoots in black and white, but one thing I love is that when it goes to POV shots, it looks like it's shot on a DV camera. Something about these shots stood out where the main character is looking into a bedroom and he sees another character. It's creepy as fuck, to say the least. One other thing that I must talk about is this. The film's ending. Now obviously, no spoilers. When it comes to Sator's final shot, the final shot of Sator really looks like, at least in my eyes, it looks like a cover for an album for a heavy metal band, for a certain heavy metal band. The final shot is really fucking cool.
Well, that's just fucking great!
Sator is a movie that I really liked. In fact, I thought this was a damn good horror film. However, I really wanted to love this movie. Sator is a movie that runs at just over an hour and 20 minutes. It's a pretty short movie. However, there are quite a few parts throughout Sator where the pacing is really slow. And here's the thing, I don't mind slow pacing in a horror film as long as the payoff is amazing. And unfortunately, while the final shot is really damn cool, I did not feel the payoff like I wanted to. Sator is a movie that really relies on visual storytelling, and I don't mind a horror film that would rather rely on visual storytelling. However, with a movie like Sator, there are so many times where I feel like some dialogue could have really only helped convey what was going on even more so. There are quite a few scenes where Sator is very ambiguous, and I mean very ambiguous. I don't mind ambiguity, that's how I pronounce it. However, more than most of the time, I feel like Sator was being ambiguous for the sake of being ambiguous. There were quite a few times where I really thought that the ambiguity really got in the way of telling the film's story.
And here we go.
So overall, Sator is a damn good horror film. Technically, this film is a stunner. While I did like it quite a bit narratively, at the same time, I cannot deny that there were a few things that were left to be desired. I really dug Sator. It was eerie, atmospheric, and there were quite a few things that were damn freaky to say the least. All in all, I'm gonna give Sator a 4 out of 5 stars, and I'm gonna say this right now. If you like films like The Witch and It Comes at Night, you just might like this movie. However, if you cannot stand films like these, stay clear of this movie, because trust me, you might be bored out of your skull watching this movie. So comment down below and let me know. Have you guys seen Sator? What did you think? Let me know below. If you guys want to follow me on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. I'm also on Snapchat and Stardust. So if you guys want to follow me on all those social media platforms, all the links in the usernames are in the description below. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Sator. If so, please hit that like button, also subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell for whenever the latest video of mine goes live. If you guys want to see any of my previous 2 videos, please click on the right there or there. And of course, until my next video or review, I'll see you all next time.